There are many, many toys on the market that look like this, but you've got a couple different models that will actually scale up, and you can take your skill from here onto like a bigger, more badass drone.
Yeah.
And the reality is, you're going to need a lot of time to learn anyway. Rival's saying here, like, you know, it's like building a PC. It's exactly like building a PC.
Yep.
That's another reason, not just the gaming aspect of this whole thing, but this is like building a PC. So if you're interested in hardware and case mod competitions or anything like that, it's fun, man. You can take a lot of pride in the style of your own unit. And like I said, you're going to need plenty of time to kind of learn on a small scale like that, and build your drone and do all sorts of stuff like that before you can, you know, really scale it up.
How many hours do you think you spent on the Ladybird?
Oh man, I don't know in terms of hours. I definitely flew pretty regularly for
Packs,
like
yeah, loads of them.
2 or 3 months before I started to really, you know, get the feel of it. And it's harder because you're line of sight, right? So when you're learning on that guy, you're not doing FPV through goggles. You're flying forward, backward, left, right, and trying desperately to like maintain the orientation on the drone, because once that back of the drone faces a different direction, your controls don't change with it. You know, so you got to figure out and orient yourself in your head where you're at. But
orientation for all you beginners, definitely face the drone away from yourself and learn to fly it that way. Keep it facing away from yourself. If it turns, you just turn it back, and now you can really learn forwards, backwards, left and right on the sticks. And then turn the drone around, face it to yourself. Learn the same thing, keep it facing you, so you learn forwards, backwards, left, right. Turn it 90 the other way, and then as soon as you've learnt all that, realistically, I always tell people that if you can fly a figure of 8 pattern in front of yourself, you're ready for a proper drone. You're ready for something that can go faster, and you've now got the skill set. Line of sight, muscle memory, it's so key. It plays in everything, you know, everything in life, really. You want to get good at something, practice small, get good, get skills, get muscle memory, and then move on up, and you're not going to hurt yourself, because these things can be spinning from 10 to 20,000 RPMs, and even sitting still, you can cut yourself on the blades. Yeah, they definitely leave a little bit of a flesh wound.
well, and that's, I don't know if you pass the Ladybird back over.
Yeah, man.
So like a lot of times you'll see a different color prop on front versus back. That's exactly why, because people are trying to be oriented and kind of know what the back of the drone is. You'll see people do like a bar here with like ping pong balls or all sorts of stuff like that. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. So this dude said he got a Blade Chroma. I'm kind of looking that up.
Blade usually makes pretty good
So this looks like
drones.
the Phantom.
Oh yeah.
So the Phantom from DJI is probably the more iconic like product on the market right now. They're by far and away the biggest drone company, and that's that kind of white one. You guys may have seen it on South Park or on the news, or you know, by a bunch of dudes maybe in your local neighborhood. But
Blade Chroma looks legit, man. I mean, it's definitely there's that differentiation of, you know, the video drones and then the real fun drones, and I'm really stoked that the video thing's taken off so massively. You've got DJI pouring money in. They're the first billion-dollar drone company out there, and they're phenomenal. They've done an amazing job. You got 3D robotics pulling up behind them. You got great companies out there with amazing tech, and then you've got all this open source stuff that people are throwing out there. And it's really, really fun, right? Everybody gets into it. It's the crazy cool angles. Take them snowboarding, take them surfing, take them wherever you feel like. It's endless and it's amazing. But all of a sudden, you start getting tired of the repairs and the cost. And to be perfectly honest, the boredom. I started finding myself taking one of my Hexes that I might break out in a minute, and I was like racing it next to an Audi trying to get a really good shot, and I'm like dodging pylons, and you know, I might have dropped one in front of an Audi or something, but you know, it gets costly, and then you know, you just start going, man, I just want to take it to the next level, and it's kind of a progressional thing. People go from the video and they just start racing them, and I haven't flown my video stuff in ages.
well, and that's kind of the broader picture, and you kind of hit on it, is that like these things are revolutionizing the public sector and the private sector.
Yeah.
You're going to have tons of inspections for bridges and power lines and agriculture and all sorts of uses for drones like that.
Rodent
and
chasing.
Yeah.
Neighbor
Pig
chasing.
hunting, yeah.
Big hunting.
And then you have kind of the more recreational stuff, like the racing and stuff like what we're doing. So let's see, we got Rob Slasher 44 here asking How much was
Rob?
the quadcopter that was in your hand? I'm assuming you're referring to the Ladybird.
Ladybird. So you're gonna go like
Yeah.
goodluckbuy.com or banggood.com, and you're gonna get this, or Amazon. You're gonna get this for about $80 with what I consider to be kind of a remote that's not, or sorry, a radio that's not really going to do you a lot of favors, because the stick feedback and the muscle memory is just weird and it's not very accurate.
Yeah.
So if you are going to get this, there's one for about 160, 180 bucks. It's the Devo 4, I think, is the controller radio. Go for that one. You get way better tactile feedback on your fingers.
And I'll find it. I'll link you guys in the chat. It's from Walkera.
And usually a lot of RC stuff will transfer over. You know, you can buy one thing and use it on something else. Wakera is a little different. You're going to buy the Ladybird and the Wakera, and you're pretty much just going to keep them together forever and use them. And then when you start getting into this, you'll give your Ladybird Wakera to your mate like I did to Dave. And you get them into the sport. You're like, yeah, you'll never fly it again, other than just demo for kids and stuff. Yeah, and then you get into this one. This guy, you know, the way that we sell the kit, our kits run like $350. You get almost everything here. You're missing the receiver, because it's really custom, kind of goes with the radio. The video transmitter and the FPV cam. A lot of people have differences and different tastes in those things, so we leave it open to the consumer to go with what they like and put on what they like. But you know, we're trying to change the way that this game is played with putting everything together in the kit. We still recognize very, very strongly that if you want to fly these, you need to have the knowledge and the skills to be able to repair them when they break, because they will break. You will smash it at 70 miles an hour and something's going to happen.
I mean, unless you're so careful,
Yeah.
you just hover it right in front of you and never do anything,
Yeah.
which, you know, at that point, why did you buy it?
Right, buy a DJI. So these are going to go down. So you need the skills. We're really bridging these gaps. We're putting all the kit together, so you don't have to go and source all this different stuff from tons of different places and wait forever for it to get there. We've done it all. We've just basically made it very, very user friendly. We're also going to be going through, in some later series that we're going to broadcast, we're going to be going through a build log. We are going to turn on, let me just show one of these other cameras. We're going to go through the whole thing, and we're going to use another one of these setups that we've got here, guys, and we're going to be building right here. And this is one that I've kind of started a couple of days ago, not very long. So I'm almost there. I've got some work up front here to do with some little voltage regulators, but the main flight controller's done here, the receiver is done, a little buzzer over here. So yeah, it's just kind of my little mobile vice, and we're going to be going through a whole video log teaching you guys, because there's too many resources out there, right? There's so much to learn, so many people's opinion. We've taken all of it, we've taken what we've learned over the last couple of years, and we're really sifting through it. We've got an amazing engineering crew that have really helped shape something phenomenal. And we're sharing that. We want you to be safe, we want you to know what you're doing, we want you to understand it, we want to have a place where you can come and interact with us and we can go through things. There'll be a whole video series coming up. There's multiple things we can do with the different styles of build that can happen, and we're really just going to kind of give you a method to follow. The amount of these that are out there with our team pilots, they've all done something different, they've all done something amazing, and none of them have instructions, but again, they're all kind of master builders, they're all pros. So
Well, and that's like where we see ourselves coming into the picture is for you guys. Like, we can be a conduit to help you guys learn and put one of these together and slowly kind of go down the path to get yourself in the air and flying your consciousness around the park and through gates
Hell yeah,
and
man.
through trees and stuff
come
like
rip
that.
it up in the skies with us, it's so fun.
Yeah.
Mm.
I saw Mr. Banano had asked what the best mode to learn to fly in is. It's funny because he's really good at flying.
Great
so
question.
He should know the answer to that question.
Mr.
But,
Banana. No, it's a good question, man. Thanks for that.
I would just say real quickly, it's like a video game config. Like, I used to play Counter-Strike. I still do every now and then. If I'm going to tell one of my buddies that's looking to get into Counter-Strike, should I learn on like a starter control setup, or no? You want to go straight for the manual. You want to go straight for what you're going to use later on down the line that's going to benefit you.
Mm.
And the same kind of applies here. You've got different modes to learn to fly in,
Mhm.
and without getting too granular, you may be able to elaborate. But you've got modes where you've got stabilizers that aren't going to let you flip over. You've got modes where once you let go of the sticks, it'll kind of slap back to like a flat position. And then your manual position is going to allow you to really turn any direction you want to turn. That's where you get the real fine kind of motor control that you see at the top of the game. But,
yeah. And I agree with Dave. I mean, it's a lot of it. If it's the first time you've taken your bird into the air, I wouldn't say that the acro mode is what you want. Sorry, the
that's
angle
true.
mode.
That's definitely true.
The angle mode is only going to let you turn a certain amount of degrees, and it's going to then put you back to level horizon. It's kind of cheating, and it's not real. It's not the real way the drone flies. Everybody gets to manual, so maybe to just prove that it works in your first couple of hovers, hover it in those modes. If you really kind of have a bit of open space and you feel confident, take it up, put it into the horizon mode. That's the one that you could put the drone upside down, and it knows that, and then it will just flip it back for you if you just let go of one of the control sticks. But very, very quickly, by using the video game, and then very, very quickly to get the realistic feel of this, is go straight manual. It's a lot more like real flying. If you're coming around a corner, you're going to pull back on the stick to really hammer that corner through, and it's the best. It's the most connected flying that you can do, and
it feels the best. It feels the most like you made all the movements.
Yeah, it's locked in. The other one's kind of a video game. It's kind of cheating. You want to go fast forwards, you're going to be pushing forwards, and you're like push, push, push. Well, yeah, you're not really flying at that point. You're playing a game, so. Change it up, and you're hitting a corner, and your speed and angles are controlled by your throttle, and then you're like pulling to get around that corner real hard.
So we've got some people putting up this taco dude with a sombrero. I use Twitch all the time to watch people on stream. I haven't seen that one before. You guys are going to have to educate me.
You're making me hungry. Taco Bell run!
At first it looked like you. It looked like they'd already photoshopped you.
What?
With a taco hat on.
It's hilarious. Man, my beer's empty. I need to make a beer run. Hey, Banano. Could you hook me up with a fresh beer, please?
Throw that
Epic.
up on stream.
What? You
So
might have
just on that screen, go to twitch.tv/DroneXLabs. That's awesome. Who is this on the front? He looks familiar. Oh, it's Rival, okay. I love the instantaneousness of that.
Thanks, buddy. Here, Dave. Jaden got you a new beer. Can I get one of these out of the big fridge? I'm gonna let you have your pumpkin. I'm not into pumpkin.
I gotta link it again in here.
What's up with Americans and pumpkin? You all love your pumpkin. There it is. Look at that. That's quality. Nice, mate. That's what we should do. People are pretty epic with it. We've seen people flying around with rabbits on it. Little soft toy, of course. But soft toy rabbits with their ears flapping back. Big shout out to Yellow Leader. He's put like a little tiny Yellow Leader Star Wars character on the front of his with the video behind it. Loved that. That was just hilarious.
Well,
yeah.
I'm sure you guys have seen the like Millennium Falcon like casings that
Yeah.
go around the drones and shit. You can really mod them out. Obviously, when you're racing, you want to keep the payload down, so you want to go as fast as you can and not have like shit fucking up your aerodynamics. So
Right.
you just kind of don't do that. But yeah, if you want,
Makes good video though, doesn't it?
It does. It does. It's pretty cool. So Rival's curious to know what a full setup costs. Drone, sticks, video. Well, so we'll just kind of make this distinction here. We've got our kit, which is the DroneXLabs Racing Quad, which is going to consolidate all the parts you need in order to build your drone, with very few exceptions. But there's a few things that we don't have in our kit.
Right. So, and I get your question, mate. There's a lot of it that goes in, and I've parts and pieced things together for mates before. So I've got a bit of an idea. You can get a really nice setup for around about $1,200. Or you can really try to cut some corners and you can get something that works just as well, but you're just not spending as much money on certain things. You can probably get your battery charging set up for about $100. Depending on how many batteries you want. You know, they're going to cost you $20 each, $30. So, you know, at minimum, you're going to want to get 5 packs because you're not going to charge them that fast. And you're going to want to go out and rip 5 packs. We rock with like 30, 40 packs.
Yeah,
because,
we go with a lot of packs.
yeah, man. I mean, you want to fly all day and there's always a crew of us flying. You got different goggles. You don't have to rock the goggles. You can get a monitor screen and a foam pad and cut it out. Will Surf Air, man, he's got the most cool, modded, like, eco-friendly stuff. It's like this big foam pad. You put your whole face in it. Couldn't have been more than maybe $50. Quantum. This is from Hobby King. These guys have come out with a really cool set of goggles, super cheap, all in battery, receiver, antenna, probably 120 for this. Whereas, you know, you step it up and you start doing stuff with the head plays, you're looking 250, 300, and then you start going up from there. Fat Shark's amazing. They've got some great goggles out there, all the way up to $400, $500, and you know, they've got their HD models. So there's always a range that you can buy. You could get in. Oh man, you could get in for 800. Drone, controller. There's a few things you don't want to cheap out on. I wouldn't recommend cheaping out on this. I would definitely always go with the Taranis. Get yourself one of those. It's really customizable. It's open source. Everybody's modding it. Everybody's coming up with stuff for it. So it's a real popular one.
And you guys are kind of hitting on something here I want to touch on. So Inviting Sauce says, yeah, look up an RTF with a transmitter. RTF stands for Ready to Fly.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. You know, Rival, you're asking, can I get a pre-built one? Totally, you can get a pre-built one. But, like we said earlier, and this point keeps coming back and back, when you crash, which you will crash if you're flying right? If you're pushing the boundaries and
if you're not crashing, fly harder.
Yeah, if you're flying, you're gonna break it, and then you're gonna pay more money to get another RTF or to get somebody else to fix it.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of really building it and knowing it from the ground up. Is that when it crashes, you know how to fix it. You enjoy fixing it. Most of the people in this hobby like sitting at the bench here, throwing on the soldering iron, throwing on some music. I mean, we're going to be doing plenty of it. We've done it for over a year now anyway. We've just decided to slap the stream up so you guys can kind of hang out with us. But I think that's what you're going to find is that you want to fly, you want to crash, and you want to fix, and you want to know all the settings, just like your PC. So.
There's tons of good video. Obviously, you can check out our website, DroneX Labs. We've got a video up there. There's some more work to be done on the site. We're going to start throwing up pages for each of our team pilots. But obviously, just connect with us on the social media. Dave does a phenomenal job there. We're on all the main stuff. All the links are right off of our website. You can just drop down to the bottom and connect with us on any of these.
And we're basically /DroneX Labs, on everything: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram.
Yeah. Makes it nice and easy. We got a couple of little videos up here. Let's just drop back in down here. Get on the old book.
Invite Sauce, you're saying you got the Emax 250?
Yeah, Emax makes some fun stuff. Emax are definitely a motor company that we're working with. There's quite a few different motor companies, but yeah, Emax are great, man. We met those guys out at Drone Nationals too.
And that's like $120 to $150 kit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of differences in the models. There's a lot of differences in the carbon. There's a lot of differences in quality. One of the things that we're bringing to the market is a no bullshit frame. We're going to bring something that's going to stand up to a crash. A lot of people go out and get a $30 kit and they start building it and then it smashes and then you're constantly repairing it. It doesn't take any punches. You put this rocket up at full speed and drop it in, you're just going to pick it up, spend $4 and 2 minutes and change blades. Pick your camera up if it got ejected, pick your battery up if it got ejected, and just put it back together and then fly again. And you can crash it again and again. So it does come down to what's your time worth, what do you feel like doing, and you're gonna figure it out. We've got a frame that's so well built, so well manufactured, it is worth it. A lot of people do have a a fairly low quality frame, and they kind of pay the price. But it's an amazing place to start, to get in. Like I fully promote something I don't even like sell or care about, but this is perfect. I don't want somebody to come straight off the street and try to buy a drone and fly it. You might hurt yourself, you know. Can you do it? Sure, you can. Get a video game, get some practice, but don't miss the practice. The muscle memory is really, really key.
And I don't think I've seen a kit that's able to really consolidate all of the pieces of hardware that ours has. I mean,
not
almost
at all,
every
man.
other kit, you're going to be like searching down 10, 15 other components that you got to order separately. But you know, with our kit, you're getting virtually everything you need to put this thing together.
Yeah.
Uncle Sammy is asking, how large can you legally make these things? There's some pretty huge RC
Yeah.
models.
Some dude in England just put like a deck chair under a 54 blade thing and just lifted himself off the ground. He's just totally chilling in this chair.
Yeah.
Some Germans have done it. I think a Dutch bloke did it.
Yeah.
And they've got different models. Some the blades are above them, some are below. Yeah.
And you've got like fighter jet mock-ups and all sorts of models that people fly in the air. Some of them are even jet powered, I believe. But you know, the legality of this stuff really boils down to like local jurisdictions. It boils down to airfields. I mean, a lot of these guys are a part of like RC clubs where they can legally go out and fly that stuff. You know, the FAA has their own regulations and recommendations for how high people can go and all of that. So that's definitely something we're going to talk a lot about, and it's something you want to be informed of, because we talk about radio waves, we talk about propagating them across large spaces. Well, a lot of stuff in society uses radio waves these days. So you have to be cognizant of what you're affecting, and you certainly don't want to...
Depending on the equipment that you purchase, you can buy retail equipment that takes a ham radio license in America to be able to fly. Countries are different, of course, but you know, you start getting into the UHF, the ultra high frequency. Now your gear can start going multiple miles away from you because you've got the UHF. But as soon as you turn the UHF on, if you don't have a ham radio license, now you're busting some FCC laws. So it's just different. You got to know what it is all over the globe. Here's a lovely little video snippet, stop motion from our main guy, Adriupi.
We call him the Spaniard.
We do, man.
Because he's from Spain.
The mad Spaniard. He's amazing. And
He's incredible.
this is kind of what it, you know, this is building a drone. This is kind of what it takes. You're mucking around, you're flipping it over, you're
He's got his
soldering
soldering iron, yeah.
Yeah. It takes this bit, that bit, you're doing a nut up here and a nut up there, and routing some wires this way, stripping, prepping, tinning, just getting it figured out. And it's not rocket science. It's really easy. These things look crazy. When you start looking at the guts of these things, I'm going to swap screens for you guys here. Oh, we're going to go big screen. No, we're not. We're going to stay small screen. That's fine. But some of the guts inside this thing, I mean, it looks fairly complicated, but let's be real. It's power and it's signal. That's it. There's a positive, there's a negative, and there's signal. Okay, there's a bit of a video, but it's not hard, it's not a lot, and we're definitely here to help share the knowledge and spread the love of the sport and make it simple for everyone. If you can build a PC, you can do this.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's really not that complicated once you get into it. So I guess talking about the anatomy a little bit more, like you're going to look here, you've got your motors, you've got your ESCs that sit here. Each arm has its own ESC, and these are going to communicate with the central flight control board that's in this here. It's kind of the brain of the drone.
Yeah, your electronic speed controllers out here, a little capacitor on them. You know, there's firmware on all sorts of stuff like this. You can change firmware on these guys. They've got a little microchip on them, and you can flash it to this, you can flash it to that. Again, we'll go over all sorts of stuff like that. It plugs into your computer. The software, it's got a really great interface. Somebody like us shows you how to do it once, you're off to the races. You can just take off from there.
And there's other variations on like the multicopter. This is kind of another name for drones like this, is you've got a multicopter, and it's just a broader umbrella. So like this is a quadcopter, obviously quad 4. You know, you've got your hex, it's going to have 6. You've got your octos, so there's all sorts of different drones, and each of them are going to have the same similar kind of thing going on, where you've got your motors, you've got your ESCs, and they're all communicating through that central flight control board. All right, take care, Uncle Sam. Thanks for stopping by, man. We're going to be here on Tuesday and Thursday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. on Mountain Time. So come hang out with us. Ask some questions. Learn how to fly drones.
Yeah. Alright, let's just flip back over.